Welcome to Sports and Stogies. Now, introducing your hosts, Cameron Winkowitz and Austin Hayes.
Well, I do. It's one of the porch ones.
Yeah.
But I have not enjoyed a pipe by that fire.
Overall experience, how was it?
But I gotta say, between the fishing poles that were set up down the little hill there and the pipe by the fire, 10 out of 10.
Did you catch anything?
Yeah, 2 little yellow bellies.
No kidding. I didn't know you could even fish there. That never crossed
Well,
my mind.
it's not even at Hocking Hills.
It's like outside of it.
Yeah, but still in, like, it's not state park area,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
like wooded. But yeah, there's a lake right there that we could swim in.
No
Probably chance.
Nobody did that.
No chance. Kyler dipped his toes in and went,
Ooh. You guys didn't
So-
even like gang up and throw one guy in there.
nope.
He drowns. Weekend's ruined.
Ruined.
Better.
Just got to man up, dude. What happens at the bachelor party stays at the bachelor party. But yeah, Kyler and Wyatt were manning the poles. They both caught one. It was a solid weekend, honestly. I was shocked because of how cold the water is. They were relatively small, too.
Hey, a fish is a
But-
fish.
We got steaks from like an Amish butcher shop.
Nice.
The guy was cutting the meat right there. We watched him cut the sirloin. He got a pound sirloin for $10.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
And you watch him cut your piece.
Wyatt did, yeah. I got a ribeye.
That's cool as hell.
But-
Were you in charge of the grill?
No. So
Were you okay with that?
I've never ran a charcoal grill,
Okay. A little different.
so I didn't want to mess it up. Overall, steaks turned out great. I made the baked potatoes, and I learned the only way I'll ever eat green beans from now on,
New method?
called Georgia style. So basically, you make like a beef bouillon broth
Ooh.
and boil the green beans in that.
Ooh.
Delicious.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah. So
And what was brought to consume alcohol-wise?
there was like a gallon of Jack, a gallon of Peach Crown. I had my new riff from my bachelor party. That was like half a bottle. Have you ever had a mule?
Like a Moscow Mule? Kentucky Mule?
I don't know.
Did you use bourbon or vodka?
Bourbon?
Then Kentucky
Wild
Mule.
turkey. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had the copper cups and everything.
Got to. I don't know why that matters, but whatever science behind that.
Keeps it colder. That's all it does.
Now you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, quality cocktail. Easy to make
It was good.
and tasty.
Then we had Jack and Cokes. Then
Bachelor party staple,
turned into just Jacks
naturally.
very quickly.
So by the time the prelim started, how are we feeling?
Great.
It's where you all should be.
Yeah, I didn't leave at all. I made that decision Friday at 3:30 when I got there. So I'm not leaving.
Were there plans to leave? Like, hey, go get breakfast. I've seen you guys all, besides the steaks, you brought other food. Like, order some pizzas.
Yeah, we ordered pizzas night 1. Night 2, they went to the grocery store in the morning, bought a bunch of eggs, bacon, had Irish bacon.
Sunday slop?
No.
Oh, you and Sherm didn't do Sunday
Dude,
slop?
I wasn't going to buy a wok. They had 2 terrible pans.
Sherm didn't have one?
No.
Come on, man.
We lost that wok a long time ago.
So you're due.
Yeah.
Might be a nice wedding gift for the old fella.
Yeah. Just a wok.
Nice wok. Giant wok.
Have to be giant.
We're talking industrial grade.
Honestly, the one we had, it was like one of the griddles where it has its own heating source. You don't even have to put it on the stove.
Ooh, that's nice.
It was nice. But, yeah, overall, solid weekend. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, we're due for one. I feel like we need one every year. Somebody get married. Shane should be next up.
Guy getting married every year for a bachelor party.
Yeah.
Pretty solid choice.
Eventually, it'll have to be my turn. I'll take the 2031 slot. TBD. Well, on that note, go ahead and pull up a chair, pour up a drink, and light that cigar. It's time for episode 78 of Sports and Stogies. As Cam relights that little pipe there,
It's a medium-sized pipe.
Smells so good.
It's a medium-sized. Wouldn't call it little.
Isn't? Well, I guess you make everything look smaller in comparison.
Perfect size, some would say.
Yeah. Well, take it away.
Well, welcome to episode 78, everybody. Kind of a very full episode with the first week of NFL free agency kicking off. So we got a lot of signings, trades, releases.
More than I expected.
Honestly, me too. I feel like the first 2 days is probably the most active 2 days I've ever, for some, not all, but
Literally only one team.
I feel like it's more active than it's ever been.
It seems to be.
So,
Also, it doesn't make any sense to me because nothing goes official until Wednesday today. So it's like the legal tampering period for 2 days. So technically things aren't really set in
weird.
stone, but I don't know why they just change it to where Monday, 9 a.m., everything's official. Have at it, boys. But with that, with March Madness coming up, with a bunch of fun segments to cover here, definitely a full show.
Man.
So let's knock promo out of the way first.
You guys know where to follow us, where to get all of your Sports and Stogies content. At Sports and Stogies on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, X, Reddit. Well, don't look for content on Reddit because we don't have any. But we do have a subreddit, which would be a great place to put your fan questions because I do get notifications. So, and a way to interact with each other. If you guys disagree with our answer, that'd be fun.
That would be dope.
But made me lose my train of thought. Instagram is the last one.
IG.
And then for the show, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, which,
We have an answer on this?
yes, June, Google Podcasts is going away.
Now we know.
So we're good for the time being.
And they're becoming...
YouTube Music, they're just
Okay.
merging.
Gotcha.
And then Amazon Prime Music.
First ad read now, before we forget.
Yeah,
From
that
now on, how
should
do you
be
want to do
fine.
these? One up front, one mid-roll?
Yeah, that works.
Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed Mr. Evan Keaton last week. I thought he was excellent. Had a great time. But he is, of course, the A-certified personal trainer. Email at allthingsfitness15@gmail.com. Cell phone at 937-308-6324. Website at allthingsfit.org. Of course, he can come meet you at the gym. Can bring the gym to you with his equipment. He has fitness classes that I believe is on every Tuesday and Wednesday.
I believe that is true information.
If you're looking to get fit for the upcoming summer season, contact our boy, Evan Keaton. Now, let's see. Smoke-wise tonight, I'm going pretty festive. With St. Patty's coming up, I could thank the Tip Top Smoke Emporium Cigar of the Month Club for March for the Alec Bradley Filthy Hooligan Shamrock 6x50. This one is a special edition barber pole. So 3 different wrappers intertwined. A lot of different complex flavors going on. I worry about these sometimes because of the potential burn issues, but so far, nice and even throughout. No touch-ups, really no wonkiness. It is 3 wrappers. These Honduran Candela, Nicaraguan Habano Oscuro, and Nicaraguan Habano with an Ecuadorian Sumatra binder, and then fillers from both Honduras and Panama. Again, really cool, unique, like yearly release. Flavor-wise, again, a lot going on. Good balance of sweetness and savoriness. Not much spice, which I'm totally cool with. And an excellent draw as well. So far, a great start to the Shamrock. If you want to get involved in the Tip Top Smoke Cigar of the Month Club, go to tiptopsmoke.org. They have 2 tiers. I think one is $30 a month for 3 or 4 cigars. And I believe a $50 tier for the premium package, which I think is 7 of some pretty heavy hitters most months. Go check them out.
Definitely quality stuff. I mean, they send you a card with all the information on them, too. But as far as I've seen, it's been banger after banger, month by month.
Our boy Greg Burke does not disappoint. And just incredible shipping.
Yeah, they come in great. I mean, the packaging is, you don't have to worry about them losing humidity or anything.
Humidified, and also like the day of, sometimes before the first of the month. I mean, they're on it. And which blend do you have tonight?
I have the Blood Moon Colt Red Moon
Whatever it's called. Oh, reliable.
deliciousness. Yeah.
Again, just to pair with my festivity, I've got a Guinness here and some Tullamore Dew Irish whiskey, which I think is just a step above regular Jameson. So we're in full force for St. Patty's Day. But
And
you
I
have something very special.
New Riff Ohio Cigar Mafia single barrel selection that we did. Barrel pick, I guess, is the proper way. Which I have not tried. I believe you tried it.
Had to crack it open. Picked it up on Saturday.
You wouldn't tell me how you felt about it.
So what's your thoughts first?
But on the bottle it says the aroma is leather and citrus, which sounds amazing. But
I believe it's a 111 proof.
standard for single barrel.
Again, we had a group of like 8 guys go out there and select from like 5 or 6 different barrels. Found their perfect one. I know we raised over $2,500 for Southeastern Guide Dogs on this. First sip. What are we thinking?
Very good. A little hot.
I was going to say that to start off with, which I find with most new riff does start a little warm.
It's a little warm, but the citrus is definitely there. Honestly, I get that note the most.
I got a lot of the smoke, which I think is on the tasting note. But yeah, for me, it's definitely got that smokiness to it.
Definitely gets smokiness, but I definitely get the citrus too.
I got that more on the nose than on the palate. But it's super unique. Of course, being single barrel, you have a lot more variety between other single barrels. And it's unlike any I've had from them so far.
It's definitely different. The guys who went down there and picked did a great job.
Killed it.
Yeah, normally you kind of get the generic new riff, but didn't know they could even produce something like that.
Of course, we have our OCM logo on the bottle.
The Southeastern Guide Dogs, as well as J.C. Newman's facility.
They went all out. They gave each bottle with like a promo card with a barcode that takes it to SEGD.
Nice.
You guys want to donate more, but again, just from profits of our group buying the bottles, we sent $2,500 down to the campus. As Wolfie says, that's who we are and what we do.
Exactly.
Now, fan cues, we have one tonight. That's really all we have time for this week.
From Uncle Sean.
Friend of the show, legend of the show.
Some would say maybe going to be on the show.
He's in the short list. Because again, let's go over the guest application thing one more time.
Yeah, so I'm going to, I didn't do it last week, but I'm going to create a Google form and pin it to the top of our Facebook. And basically all you'll have to do is go fill that form out. It'll be very generic. Who your favorite teams are, what major sports you follow.
What you want to talk about.
What you want to talk about. What
Do you have
day,
maybe like a,
if it's a Wednesday or Tuesday that you're available.
maybe like a personal sports background.
Anything like that.
I've got one guy like coaches a basketball team.
And then maybe like a recent trivia question, sort of. Like, who was last year's MVP? Just so we know that you semi-keep up with sports.
And that shouldn't be anything we have to worry about because I don't think you want to come on the show and get embarrassed.
You never know.
Unless, one guy named Shane Brooks signs up and and then you never know.
But, yeah, we're going to attach a Google form and pin it to the top of our Facebook. So that will be where the application, air quotes, will be for guest spots, if we haven't reached out to you already.
And again, we can work our schedule around you to a degree. Ideally Tuesday, Wednesday.
Since it's the regular show.
Yeah, could do Thursday, if need be.
Yeah, but then it'd be a Friday release.
Which, in the off season, I don't hate
It's
as much.
not terrible, but
hopefully one of those 2 days works out for whoever you may be.
And like you could say it's a Tuesday 6 months from now.
Oh yeah, we can schedule out.
Yeah,
like whenever.
It's Tuesdays and Wednesdays for us, no matter what.
Regardless.
So.
Well, the fan cue. Have you ever seen a harder shot absorbed without being knocked down or knocked out than the knee that Cheeto took against Sean?
In recent memory, no. I mean, that was a perfectly placed knee straight to the chin.
Textbook
face.
as can be.
Yeah, there's definitely not a more perfectly placed shot. But again, Cheeto Vera's still yet to be knocked down in his entire career.
Absolute dog.
So probably the toughest UFC fighter. I'm going to say he overdoes Max.
Yeah, because Max doesn't take as many shots, at least not to that degree, and that consistently.
Yeah, it's tough.
Only thing that comes to mind was Overeem hit Curtis Blades with a similar knee, actually, I think 4 years ago. And Blades took it and actually ended up winning the fight.
Yeah, Overeem's knees have to be.
And that was prime, yeah, like,
Yeah.
well, not prime, he was on the downhill slide, but still, Overeem's a scary fella. And he hit flush. I thought about the head kick that Dan Hooker took, like, last year. I want to say it was Jalen Turner, but it still wobbled him. Like, he didn't go down, but it definitely had more effect than what Sean's knee did on Cheeto.
Yeah, nothing.
Seems like it. I wonder what you think and what
do
you
you
feel
train
like
that?
in that. You don't. You can't.
He has to. He has to train not being able to be knocked out. He's never been knocked out or even knocked down.
Genetics, apparently.
Like when he's sparring, is he just hit me in the face
As hard as you can.
as many times as you can in a row?
To me, that's not beneficial training.
It is if you've never been knocked down in your entire career.
Usually, you want to try to avoid every shot possible, not get better at taking them.
Maybe that's why he's just a different breed. You get so good at taking shots, it's a point fight every time for you. Didn't work this time,
Yeah,
but
9 times out of 10, you think you could stuff the pain down
with
just don't
only
worry
eight,
about
with
it.
only 8 losses and 1 no contest, to be never knocked down or knocked out or finished or anything. Every single fight you've lost is a decision.
That's got to be one of the biggest feathers in your cap, right? Like you say, Khabib never lost a round, which is incredible, right? But to never be knocked down, never be knocked out, and fight for 10, 15 years,
Crazy.
that's got to be a good feeling to have.
Yeah.
And got to be demoralizing, too, to hit a guy with your best shot
Probably that you've ever thrown.
in a fight or sparring or anything, and he doesn't even faze him. Like, well, hell, what do I do now? Just survive till the bell,
Yeah.
which is what Sean did. But
Almost, didn't it?
if it was 30 seconds longer, it got a little interesting.
10 seconds.
All he needed.
As soon as he hit that liver shot, if he was following up with a knee.
If he would have done that at any point in the previous 23 or 24 and a half minutes, what could have been?
Yeah.
If he would have listened to the show, maybe.
Some would say.
Taken our advice. What could have been? Then with that, it is March. You know what that means. We had to do some kind of bracket, right? A couple
Absolutely.
ideas. Wanted to keep it sports related. Thought about, best teams of all time, best players, pick a sport, go through there. But we wanted to go a little more off the total sports angle. Best sports movies. We picked 32 of our favorites. We thought were the best.
And they are put together by genre, basically, of sport.
Thought that'd be the fairest way to do it. So we have 8 baseball movies, 8 football, 8 boxing, and then 8 miscellaneous.
Well, fighting movies.
Well, I guess, yeah, combat sports. We have 2 wrestling in there with boxing. Some debate for sure. Had to cut a few tough ones. Had to fight with each other to put a few in. And then came to one great agreement that I think you guys are going to also enjoy. Whether you vote for them or not because you question if they're actually a sport, up to you.
And maybe you'll actually watch some of these movies you've never watched.
Also a great point, yeah. I've seen, I think, all but like maybe 3 of these, if that.
But to top it all off, not only are we doing the bracket link will be available in this show's promo for you to fill out the bracket we created and decide who wins each round based on popular vote.
Yeah, so go ahead and take what you guys think is the better sports movie all the way through, and then we'll tally up the votes and have an official SnS best sports movie of all time.
Bingo.
I already filled out my whole bracket. I think we'll go round by round, or maybe, I guess, leave it open for like 2 weeks, you think?
Yeah, I mean, that'll be fine.
Till the end of the month, 2 shows from now. We'll get there whenever.
Well, that'd be 2 weeks is more than. Well, yeah, I guess that's the end of the month, right? 2 weeks, roughly.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, it'll be the 14th. So yeah, about 2 weeks.
And we'll release round winners week by week, or however we figured out, maybe every 3 days or so.
So I did seeding based on IMDb rankings. Your 1 seeds got the Sandlot, which I would pick as my 1 seed as well. Remember the Titans, Raging Bull, and then the Hustler. Just one of the 2 that me and Cam threw in there. It's pool, and it's a great sports story.
And pool is also a sport.
We also put in Rounders, which we both love. And again, you might argue whether or not poker is a sport, but I think it's a great sports
Based on the
story.
definition of sport, it does include, to me, poker. But it is a subjective thing.
There's some very tough first-round matchups. But again, I couldn't fix the seeding. Just had to go by what IMDb had as the ranking. So mine was pretty tough to fill out, especially come, the 3rd, 4th round, championship round. My overall winner kind of surprised me. But I did my criteria based on not necessarily what is the better movie, but what's the better sports story.
That's fair.
So you guys, again, go vote. It'll be on, I think it's called Challenge. But again, the URL will be on every single link to the show. Don't have to sign up. No information needed. Just go in there, pick your winners.
Go in and vote.
It'll go live at Thursday at 11, so coincides with the show release. And then we'll see what the true champion is. Any guesses? Any favorite? What's the front runner here?
I have no idea. Probably Sandlot.
Definitely
I think
should win the baseball
everybody's
bracket.
seen it, and everybody loves it.
Spoiler, it made my championship round,
That doesn't shock me.
but it did not win. Titans, beloved.
It's tough.
Biggest dark horse,
Cool Runnings.
which is one of your favorites, which I'd like a lot. Upsets for me, I've got one comedy in the Elite Eight.
Ooh, Happy Gilmore.
It is not Happy Gilmore. It is actually... No, it did not. It did not face Happy Gilmore.
Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights made the Elite Eight. Because again, great sports story. He's on the top,
Yeah.
and he loses it. He's got to get it back. He forgets who he is.
Why don't you run through all of our first rounders?
Across the board?
Yeah.
All right, so baseball bracket. You got the 1 seed Sandlot against 8 seed Bull Durham. Want to go with our winners here too?
Sure.
I went Sandlot, obviously.
Yeah, Sandlot agreed.
Field of Dreams against the Natural. Don't feel strongly about either. Took the Natural. Field of Dreams is probably the most iconic scene, but overall, I think Natural's just a better movie.
But this is a better sports story.
I still think so. Yeah.
Because it is ironic that you said, I didn't pick the better movie, but then you
To be
just
fair,
said it was the better
there
movie.
are a few, or even when I was filling them out, I went against my own criteria.
That checks
But
out.
as a tiebreaker, I went with what's the better sports story.
Gotcha.
42 against a League of Their Own. Super close.
42.
I had to go 42. But I do love League of Their Own. Very funny. Classic Tom Hanks. And then the toughest first round matchup. Moneyball against Major League.
I got Moneyball.
As much as I love Major League, I also had to go Moneyball. I love seeing the behind the scenes. So well made. And again, a great sports story.
It's like draft day.
Similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're getting the front office side. And how do you not love Brad Pitt, right?
Also true. Or, God dang it, Jonah Hill?
Great Jonah Hill. What an Oscar.
Yeah. I always want to say Jonah Williams for some reason.
I love one of my favorite scenes is when they're negotiating the first trade and he's calling 3 different owners and Hill's giving him the information. Or when they first bring Jonah down to the scouts room.
Yeah.
Like, who the hell's this guy? And he lays out the whole plan. Does he get on base?
Does he get on base?
Do you have the bracket pulled up?
No.
All right, I'll go through all of them then. The NFL region or football region, 1 seed Titans against 8 seed the Waterboy.
That's a tough matchup.
Underrated, sneaky, but a juggernaut for Waterboy to go up against.
If there was a movie that was going to be Titans, I feel like Waterboy could do it.
Beloved and very funny. Any given Sunday against Draft Day.
Draft day.
I went Sunday just because of Pacino's halftime speech at the end. Again, don't really feel strongly about either one. so no personal
I
ties
have
there.
to feel strongly about draft day.
Well, naturally, a little bias there. Friday Night Lights with Billy Bob against the Replacements. Went FNL. And then 2-seed Rudy against the Sandler version of Longest Yard. Also,
Honestly,
a tough one.
Rudy was in contest for 1 seed.
I had to go Rudy.
So,
It'd be sacrilegious not to go Rudy.
yeah. I mean, I feel like Rudy versus Waterboy would have been a way better matchup, way closer. But as great as Longest Yard was, Rudy is just one of a kind.
What else do you want? So that gives me, in the second round, Sandlot against The Natural, 42 against Moneyball, Titans against Any Given Sunday, and Friday Night Lights against Rudy. We'll go over second round next week. On to the combat side. 1-seed Raging Bull against Creed. Boxing was the highest overall. I guess fighting was the highest overall, median ranking.
Yeah.
All because boxing is such a cinematic sport.
Yeah.
Again, love Creed, but
I go Creed.
heavyweight. I know, of course, you're going to go with the newer, more accessible
That has
movie.
nothing to do with it.
That's going to factor in.
Not really.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
Creed is just a better movie.
Okay. I would not be shocked if in the actual poll, if Creed wins.
Yeah.
Which again, Creed's a great movie. Nothing against Creed.
And one of the better, all of them are great.
Yeah, across the board.
That's few and far between.
You had 6 Rockies and then 3 Creeds now,
Yeah.
and
even all 6 Rockies,
none of them are bad.
none of them are bad, but the ones that are better stand out. Like Rocky 1 versus Rocky 2.
Yeah.
So that, to me, Creed 1 through Creed 3, none of them stand out over top of the other like a huge margin.
I've not seen 3 yet, though. I will say that.
I haven't either, but I'm just assuming.
Fair enough. Then we go Warrior, which is the best and probably the only MMA movie that's been made. If
Yeah.
you've not seen it, go check it out.
Roadhouse is coming out, which is loosely based on MMA.
There's some MMA influence there,
So
which I'm going to watch.
I'm going to watch
I mean,
it too.
One, I love Jake Gyllenhaal, and you got Connor in there. It's free on Amazon. Why not, right?
Got to.
Got to. Against Cinderella Man, which I think is super underrated.
Cinderella Man is an underrated movie.
I took Cinderella Man there, but super close. So the 4 or 5 matchups were all very, very tight.
Yeah, I can't, some of these I can't make on the fly.
It took me, I tried to go with my gut.
But I'm going to fill out one with the voting.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Since it's under yours, I'll go ahead and vote on that when it opens up.
We go $1 Million Baby against The Wrestler, which you persuaded me to put in.
Yeah, I go The Wrestler.
Originally, I didn't think there was enough wrestling actually in it to be a true sports movie. Fucking great film. And I did take it over $1 Million Baby.
Yeah.
In a battle of probably the 2 most depressing movies in this bracket.
Very, yeah.
Good Lord. And then Rocky 1 against The Fighter. Got to go Rocky.
What a matchup, though.
Again, love The Fighter. One of Christian Bale's best performances. One of Marky Mark's best. Prime Amy Adams. But the original Rocky is one of the best sports stories of all time.
Yeah.
I
Sports stories, yes. Rocky
I
is better.
love the fact that he loses at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sports.
Yeah.
It's not always the perfect ending.
And it's film.
And it's film.
Not only is it sports, but it is film.
Cinematic.
Then our miscellaneous section that could have been way more fun, and I did consider putting Iron Claw in the fighting side, but I couldn't think of anything to put it in over.
Also, I haven't seen it yet, so
And,
I
yeah,
could have
he
pushed for
hasn't
that
seen it
harder.
yet.
But you swear by it, and I've heard nothing but good things so far. So
Amazing.
Cannot wait to
Amazing
watch it.
story. Maybe that would have been a better miscellaneous option though,
I mean, maybe next year.
because it is pro wrestling, not.
I mean, so is The Wrestler
Yeah.
to a lesser degree. I mean, he's an amateur circuit
Yeah.
guy that used to be a big time pro.
Yeah. Maybe even the wrestler should have been a miscellaneous though,
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do?
because it used to be considered a combat sport before everybody knew.
Still a combat sport, just a scripted combat sport. Miscellaneous. These could go anywhere.
Like I said, Cool Runnings is in there.
So we have The Hustler against Space Jam, first round.
That's almost impossible.
Now, Space Jam's going to win because The Hustler's from '61. I don't think most of our audience has seen it. And Space Jam's something everybody grows up with.
Yeah.
But of course, I went The Hustler.
It's more
Rounders.
your style.
Yeah. I mean, prime Paul Newman. Come on.
Yeah.
And again, the sports story
And just that.
about the addiction to the sport,
that
the game.
style that's literally right up your alley
Yeah.
as far as what you're into.
Of course. It's black and white too.
And pool halls, like,
Chuck and Jack.
yeah.
Guys sitting there smoking, betting, playing pool.
Yeah.
I want to be that. I want to be Paul Newman in The Hustler.
Know.
Except I'll know when to walk away.
No, you won't.
No, of course not. We got Rounders against Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings, brother.
God, so tight. How do you choose? I had to go Rounders because of same thing. Big time poker guy. Super
me
tightly
too,
written.
But I legitimately have it. Cool Runnings might be my most watched movie in my life.
Really?
Yeah,
Number one all time.
I think so. If I really tallied it out, it'd probably be Cool Runnings then Lord of the Rings.
Definitely up there. Yeah, hilarious and so unique. Like, there's reasons here in the miscellaneous category.
Yeah, and it's bobsledding.
Show me another bobsledding movie.
They made one. They didn't need to make another one.
Exactly. Why even try? You're not going to top it. But I did go Rounders. Then we have Miracle against Happy Gilmore.
Also, another tough matchup.
Two great
Honestly,
American
I feel like
heroes.
the miscellaneous are the toughest matchups.
That's why I could see any of these banging it out of that region.
And I will say, I did push for Goon to be on here, but couldn't make it.
Would have loved to put Goon and Slapshot both. But when you have only 8 slots for every other sport, it's not the 3 we have, things get tight.
And there's not enough good basketball movies to have just done all 4 major sports either.
Yeah, basketball definitely underrepresented in terms
Like
of
outside
good
of
movies.
like Space Jam, Like Mike, and even Like Mike wasn't a great movie.
And didn't make our bracket.
White Men Can't Jump. I don't think that's really that great of a movie.
Overrated? Question mark.
Yeah.
I like the latest Sandler Hoops movie on Netflix.
Yeah,
It was good. I think it's good. It's called Hustle.
Yeah, Hustle.
Good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. Probably never watch it again.
Well, that just means it wasn't that good, I guess.
It was just good. I have no reason to go back and check it out.
I mean, I've watched it a couple times.
Already?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It's a pretty solid movie overall.
I feel like you see yourself in that role.
One day,
I think you could play that.
I think I could too.
You kind of look like the part.
Yeah, a little bit.
I could definitely see that. Maybe we'll get there when the show really takes off and then eventually dies out.
We go Hollywood.
Exactly.
It's like everyone else does.
We can only hope.
Hollywood sellouts.
Really almost went Happy Gilmore.
I do go Happy Gilmore.
But just because of Kurt Russell, I went Miracle.
Yeah, I go Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, no hate there. And last but not least, Hoosiers against Talladega Nights.
So what seed was Cool Runnings?
That was a 5 seed.
It's not bad.
These were all very, very close too.
Yeah, that's not bad though. I got Hoosiers over Talladega Nights.
Hoosiers probably the best hoops movie all time. Very, very good, but I love Talladega Nights.
I do too, but
And I wanted to put one comedy that moved on.
that's why I go Happy Gilmore. I think Happy Gilmore is the better comedy and better sports story.
Similar, yeah. Yeah.
But and there's just something about Grandma, dude.
I mean, yeah, you're playing to save your grandmother.
And the iconic hockey putter and sprinting drive. Just can't beat it.
Avenging his coach.
Yeah.
Taking down maybe the single biggest douche of all time.
Yep.
That's when I've seen probably 15, 20 times at least. At least. So again, my second round winners. You got Raging Bull against Cinderella Man. The Wrestler against Rocky 1. The Hustler against Rounders. That one took a lot of debate back and forth. And then Miracle against Talladega Nights. So again, check out the link. It'll be on every single place we post the show. Go make your bracket. I don't think there's a limit on how many you can make.
Make them. If you want your guy to win that bad, make him win.
Yeah, if you feel like you want to go through and put 5 or 10 in, I mean, so be it.
when Cool Runnings wins the championship,
We knew Cam maybe.
just know how many brackets I made.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. Again, I have really no.
No idea.
It could be anything.
I don't even have a guess.
No. Couldn't tell you. With that, first 3 days of NFL signings have just been chaotic.
So we've got every team broken down by division. That's how we figured the best way to do this would be. So we're going to start with the NFC West, move all the way to the NFC East, and then AFC West to the AFC East, and everything in between. So I'll start with the Los Angeles Rams. Not a ton of crazy good moves. They just locked up great offensive linemen.
Which I think is always reliable. Never a sexy move.
But a needed one. But guard Jonah Jackson, 3 years, $51 million. Guard Kevin Dotson, 3 years, $48 million. Got a tight end, Colby Parkinson, younger guy, not super old.
Or Bronco, I believe, or was he the Seahawk guy?
Thought he was a Seahawk.
I think you're right. He's a long-haired dude.
Yeah. 3 years, 22. Darius Williams, corner, 3 years, 22. And Demarcus Robinson on a 1-year rental for $5 million.
Yeah, locking him up for one more. Love it for Kyron Williams.
Yeah, definitely.
Be a very sneaky. I was trying to think of some fantasy angle on all these. Could definitely put him in like third or fourth running back taken once we approach the
for sure
the draft season. The Niners did typical Niners things. Nothing huge. Still a lot of cap space left. Biggest move I think is Leonard Floyd, 2 years, $24 million. Some more frontline help. Taking the Chase Young spot that was never really filled by Chase Young. And then we've now re-signed a couple guys. Locked up some vets. Cardinals really didn't do anything super notable. You get a Sean Murphy Bunting.
Seattle has only re-signed signed 3 guys. Noah Fant, 2 years, and then 3 years locked up Leonard Williams.
Great move.
But yeah, the Cardinals got Mac Wilson, Sean Murphy Bunting, a couple other guys. Nothing super notable,
but good pieces.
Solid role players.
The Bears with a handful of big moves, which we much needed. Locked up Jalen Johnson, 4 years, $76 million. He's proven to be a top 10 corner last year. Bring in DeAndre Swift, one of the first running back signings, I think the first running back signing.
Pretty sure, yeah.
3 years, 24. So kind of setting the market there. $8 million a year for a running back like that, not terrible. As much as all the talk was, last season about not paying running backs, and this is a position you just draft instead. 3 for 24, I think is pretty friendly for both parties.
Yeah. Then we moved to Green Bay.
Also, they brought in Kevin Byard as well.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Sneaky.
Good safety move for sure. Then we go to Green Bay. Xavier McKinney locked up, 4 years, $68 million. That's huge. They re-signed Tyler Davis, Corey Ballantyne, signed Keyshawn Nixon for 3 years, $18 million, and then the big key signing, locking in Josh Jacobs for 4 years, $48 million. You get younger at running back, 3 years. Aaron Jones is almost 30. Released him. Great move.
Unexpected, too. I didn't see them going for Jacobs.
Neither did I.
But I like his style with the offense they run.
Definitely. Honestly, I think the Cowboys should have went for Jacobs.
Well, we'll get there when we talk about Dallas. A lot of guys I feel like we should have at least made a push for. The Vikings, again, kind of making some splashes. They brought in Grenard from Houston, 4 years, 76, which pretty much meant they're going to let Daniil Hunter go, which they did end up doing. For not as much as I would have guessed, honestly.
Yeah.
Bring in Blake Cashman, good linebacking piece. Bring in Andrew Van Ginkel, 1 year deal off the edge, 2 year deal for $20 million. And then Sam Darnold, 1 year, $10 million. I can't imagine he's going to start.
$10 million's a stretch.
I mean, that's the market for quarterbacks, whether you're going to play or not.
Yeah, but you just move on if he doesn't say yes to $3 million.
Yeah, isn't that wild? DeAndre Swift is getting $8 million a year, and is going to be a starting running back, and Sam Darnold getting $10 a year.
Maybe they see something we don't.
Ghosts.
The Lions.
Real quick there.
Oh,
Aaron Jones stays in the division. And
that's
goes to
right.
Minnesota. 1 year, $7 million.
We'll see.
I like the 1 year deal. He can still produce, given he stays healthy. But at that age, no reason to go anything long term.
Yeah, I agree. The Lions lock up Graham Glasgow, 3 years, $20 million. Then a couple just depth pieces. Amik Robertson, 2 years, $9 million. Marcus Davenport, 1 year, undisclosed how much money. Re-signed Emmanuel Mosley. Jalen Reeves-Maben for 2 years, $8 million, and then traded their third-round pick for Carlton Davis and 2 sixth-round picks from the Panthers, and then re-signed their terrible kicker for some reason.
Apparently, there's nobody else out there.
You keep a bad kicker, so Dan Campbell has to keep going for it on fourth.
I assume they'll bring somebody else in training camp. Maybe draft somebody just so there's a competition. I don't know. I can't imagine you keep this guy as your main kicker with no other questions asked. Into the NFC South. The winners of the Kirk Cousins sweepstakes, the Atlanta Falcons.
Which we had said that.
But TB actually brought this up. Remember last year when they could have got Lamar for similar money to what they just gave Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, but I don't know if Lamar, I don't think that's what they're looking for.
Clearly not.
Because it's a stylistic thing that you have to think about, too.
And with coaching changes,
and
you're going to definitely change things up there.
And Baltimore would have had to not match that also. Like, if you offered Lamar that, Baltimore could offer him that and make him sign with them instead.
Or make it more, yeah.
Yeah. So, which I think is what they were doing anyways. I don't think any other team ever actually had the opportunity to sign him.
If they did, they didn't try. But I love it both ways. Again, 4 for 180. They also bring in Darnell Mooney, another weapon there. Is this finally the year that Kyle Pitts breaks out?
Again.
For big time, yeah. For what he should be.
Well, he was the first 1,000-yard rookie tight end ever.
Yeah. Completely forgotten about.
Not really. That was a breakout. So he just needs to do that again. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
Is this where he finally becomes a consistently good weapon?
A guy you can trust.
Yeah. Because you have an actual competent quarterback and
who loves his tight ends.
Competent head coach, I would assume. Got to be more competent than Arthur Smith.
It's a very low bar.
And you have Kirk Cousins, top 15, top 12, maybe even top 10 quarterback.
Now you've got London, Pitts, Mooney, Bijan out of the backfield.
And you still have the, number 8 pick? So you're probably going to get Romeo Odunze, something like that, if you go offense.
If he drops that far, yeah.
But from the combine, all the quarterbacks' draft stock grows.
Skyrocketed.
So you're probably going to get a guy like that, depending on who's drafting. I haven't looked at the draft order yet.
I like Atlanta a lot going into next season.
Carolina made some pretty solid moves. Traded Brian Burns for 2 second-rounders and 2 fifth-rounders, I think, was what it ended up being. Signed Robert Hunt, 5 years, $100 million. Signed Damian Lewis, both offensive guards, 4 years, $53 million.
Great moves. Please protect Bryce. Just what they needed to do.
Then went all in on defense. Got defensive tackle Alshon Robinson for 3 years, $22 million. Got linebacker Josie Jewell, 3 years, $22 million. Re-signed Troy Hill. Re-signed J.J. Jansen. Then traded for Deontay Johnson, which is a great move. And in exchange for Dante Jackson and a 2024 7th-round pick swap.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
And then signed Dane Jackson, 2 years, $14.5 million. So pretty much everything, offensive line and defense, and added a piece for the ball to be thrown to.
Anybody happier than Bryce Young right now?
No.
You get 2 big old hogs in front of you and finally a guy to throw to. There was talk of them trading Burns for T. Higgins straight up because, of course, Higgins requested a trade now. That's up in the air. But you trade Burns for 2 picks and give up a 7th-rounder and a guy you don't even want for Deontay, who I think is going to have he's always been under the radar, but very good.
Well, he's also had Kenny Pickett throwing him the football.
Now
he's a talented guy, and he didn't want to be in Pittsburgh anymore.
Clearly.
And they clearly didn't want him either.
I think it's a win-win-win all around.
So,
Tampa re-signs Baker 3 for 115. We mentioned Mike Evans last week. And then I think they tagged Winfield, 1 year, 17 mil. So maintaining status quo there. I love the Baker. We all agreed he's where he should be, and what they should do. New Orleans really didn't do a whole lot. Re-signed a few guys.
Demario Davis, 2 years. Willie Gay, 1 year, 5 mil, and then Tyrann Mathieu, 2 year, 13.7 mil. So good moves.
A lot of restructuring with their cap situation.
Yeah.
Let's go to the NFC East, where the aforementioned Brian Burns trade to the New York Giants, who they immediately signed long-term, 5 years for $150. Also bring in guard John Runyon, 3 for $30, and then bring in Devin Singletary, to be, I assume, the probably by committee lead back.
Yeah, they'll probably draft somebody, I would imagine.
If you haven't seen, I mean, Saquon is no longer a Giant.
Yeah, which I will tell you about right now when we go to Philly. Signed Saquon, 3 years, 37.75. I think incentive-based, up to 37.75 with incentives. Signed Edge Bryce Huff for 3 years, 51 mil. Brought back C.J. Gardner-Johnson for 3 years, 33 mil.
That one's a little more surprising to me, I think.
Because he was injured all year.
Yeah, and that's history of that.
Was he really your glue and feel like that was what you needed? Kevin Byard was that bad?
Wasn't that good, clearly.
But then they signed Brandon Graham for 1 year, Rick Lovato for 1 year, which is their long snapper. Braden Mann, 2 years, punter. Another linebacker, Zach Bond, for 1 year. Then Jake Elliott locked in 4 years, $24 million.
Then they lose Fletcher Cox, who decided to hang it up, just like Kelsey did.
Can't blame him.
Now, probably an Eagles Hall of Famer here in the future. The Commanders signed everybody,
including Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, today I love that move. Classic Dan Quinn kind of move. He brought over 2 Cowboys, Dorrance Armstrong, 3 years, $45 million, and starting center Tyler Biadasz, 3 years for $30 million. It's a bargain. Linebacker Frankie Lavu, 3 years, $36. Austin Eckler, out of the blue.
Out of nowhere.
2 years, $11.43. I think it's good value for a guy of his age and his situation off that injury that he kind of fought with all season. Bring in Mariota to be a backup, or who knows, depending who you draft, maybe a starter. Zach Ertz hanging on, 1 year, $5 million. And then 2 very sneaky moves I like a lot with safety Jeremy Chin, 1 year, $4.1 million, and edge rush Clelin Ferrell, 1 year, $3.75 million. Want to tell us what Dallas did?
Re-signed long snapper Trent Sieg for
Got our
1
guy.
year.
Got our guy.
And then signed Eric Kendricks for 1 year.
So I'm glad we got a linebacker, but I would have taken Bobby Wagner.
What about a
Cashman?
running back, maybe?
I assume we're just going to draft one.
Since you don't have Tony Pollard, your starting running back anymore.
So I guess we'll be starting 5'6", 160 Deuce Vaughn. I don't know what Jerry's doing. Remember when he said like last month, hey, we're all in this season?
Yeah. All in with what?
Nobody left here, Jerry. And you lost some important pieces.
You don't have anything to trade. All you've done is tagged Micah Parsons and signed Eric Kendricks.
Eric Kendricks, the missing piece of that defense? No.
Because Gilmore's still not re-signed.
Nope.
So...
Now, again, I think we will bring some of these guys back, but you got Gilmore, you got Jordan Lewis. You lose Armstrong, who was a very important piece of that front four. Biadasz, great starting center.
Is Dallas going to be the bottom dog in the NFC East?
There's still too much talent there. I would hope not, but if anybody can fail to reach expectations, it is the Dallas Cowboys. Thankfully, we always draft very well, so I guess he's making on that. But, man, at least sign somebody. Somebody.
One person. Just one.
Unless he's got something big up his sleeve. We're going to bring in JJ out of nowhere, because that makes sense. Can he play linebacker?
Maybe.
We need it. Can he play center? Can he snap the ball?
Maybe.
Maybe we're just going to have the long snapper just take over
Could
center
be.
position as
Yeah,
well.
that could be true.
Yeah, way to go. Yeah, we were the last team to sign a player, and that happened legit 3 hours ago.
Yeah, give or take. Not including the long snapper.
Yeah, for a true free agent, we were the last team. Which is just we got to start the year off on a negative note already.
Good. Set the expectations low.
This year, maybe I'll have to finally. Let's go to the AFC.
All right, take it away with Denver.
Go ahead. I need a moment.
Oh. Well, we had a plan where we were going to alternate so we could scroll.
Well, sometimes you got to call an audible.
But Denver hasn't really done much. They traded Jerry Jeudy to Cleveland and released Justin Simmons.
Who is still unsigned.
Dallas.
I mean, if we let Lewis walk, maybe.
Other than that, they signed Mike Burton at fullback, Malcolm Roach at DT, Brandon Jones for 3 years at safety, PJ Locke, 2 years, $7 million at safety, re-signed Will Lutz, and re-signed wide receiver Lil Jordan Humphrey.
All-time great.
Definitely all-time great name.
Of course, also letting Russ go, that's been finalized.
Yeah.
The Chiefs lock up Chris Jones, 5 years, $160. Get that bag. Then again, Snead was tagged, 1 year, $19.8. Lock up Drew Tranquil, 3 years, $19 million. Hell of a bargain, I think. Bring in Irv Smith,
And punter Matt Araiza.
the legend himself. Innocent.
I know you're excited about the Raiders.
For 2 reasons, and they're 2 pretty big reasons.
Signed Christian Wilkins, 4 years, $110.
Out of the blue.
Now you have Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins.
Max Crosby will lead the league in sacks next season. Finding some help on the line to take some double teams away.
Take the under on that. Then you sign Gardner Minshew.
Oh,
the
my
third.
God. I don't know
2 years, $25 million.
if the tourist women in Vegas are ready for this.
And you also signed center Andre James for 3 years, 24. Re-signed Amir Abdullah for whatever reason. And Harrison Bryant, who is the fumble king machine, 1 year, $3 million.
Gardner could start.
Definitely over what you have now.
Yeah, I think they still want to stick with O'Connell, but they'll at least compete for the job.
It's insane.
Wouldn't shock me at all if by week 3 or 4, Gardner takes over.
You don't need that box head throwing any more footballs in Vegas, dude.
Little personal vendetta there?
He just looks like a freaking Minecraft character.
He does.
But you can't, I mean, you once upon a time had Sex Cannon Rich Gannon.
But one
Once
only,
upon a time had one of the sexiest men alive in Jimmy Garoppolo.
who also was officially released.
Now you have probably the third biggest sex symbol in NFL history in Gardner Minshew.
Well, until Sam Hartman gets drafted.
Until then, maybe he gets drafted by Vegas. Then you have a true battle.
Oh, my God.
Battle of the Buttes, dude.
Oh. If only they'd kept Jimmy G. You've got Jimmy, Hartman,
Three-way
and
battle
Gardner.
of the Buttes.
It's a 3-way I'd pay to watch.
But it doesn't matter because they tanked anyways because they signed Harrison Bryant, who is hot dog shit.
Either way, I think Christian Wilkins signing is my second favorite of the entire first couple days here that we have. And again, paid. DT is a place to be.
You know, since you're allowed to have 2 teams, I'm just going to claim the Texans
I love that.
as a fallback option.
Love it. Assuming your Brownies don't release Nick Chubb.
Well, I'm going to claim them anyways
Well,
as my second
it's getting
team.
early,
But if
yeah.
the Browns release Nick Chubb,
You're all in.
full, yeah. Baltimore hasn't done much. Re-signed Matabuki, 4 years, $98 million. Signed Derrick Henry. I'm not super excited about it. I almost
it's
think
not-
they run the ball too much to have an older running back.
Yeah. Now, thankfully, they can kind of go by committee with Keaton Mitchell and Lamar. You know, so you keep Henry at 15 carries a game. I think it's a tough dynamic to stop with the RPO. I mean, if you're a linebacker, you try to brace for Henry or turn the wheels on to go get Lamar.
Yeah. And then they re-signed Nelson Aguilar.
And for the value, I mean, there's nothing. You're not losing anything here. I don't think. If it pays off, you look like a genius. We did pass the Chargers real quick though. They released Mike Williams, who was out there. I mean, he's not notable. And then signed Gus Edwards for 2 years, 6.5.
Yeah, I thought they didn't do anything.
They were over the cap. They were going to release either Mac, Bosa, Keenan, or Mike Will. I think they made the right call, going with Mike, who's always injured. But hopefully he has a healthy season with somebody, can contribute.
Said he wants to play for a Super Bowl contender.
Who
so
doesn't?
He will probably be signed by the Kansas City Chiefs.
Stay in the division. And then never get hurt, put up 2,000 yards.
Give or take, yeah.
The Bengals, maybe my third favorite. I love the Geno Stone signing.
I do too.
2 years, $15 million, great value.
But you release Chidobe Awuzie, you release Joe Mixon.
Traditionally,
Well, you trade
a-
Joe
it was a
Mixon for like
trade.
a 37th round pick.
yeah. Bring in Zach Moss, 2 years, $8 million.
You tag T. Higgins to trade him.
If they trade him, I don't know why they wouldn't, but they've been so anti-trade before.
Well, he
especially
wants
in
out.
conference.
So, he said that there's been no conversations about long-term deals. So, he's out next year, regardless, because you can't afford him and Chase at the same
the
time.
Bengals front office continues to be so incompetent. And you bring in Mike Gesicki, 1 year, 3.2.
Can't wait to see the dual gritty.
They've been projected to draft Brock Bowers. Does that change
If he
things
falls,
now?
Yeah.
I mean, they re-signed Drew Sample for 3 years. Just running some 3 tight end sets here.
Pretty much, yeah. They were last year.
I don't know. Very, very odd.
And then we go to Cleveland. Jameis Winston signed as a backup quarterback. Love it. Locker room guy. The glue. Zadarius Smith locked up for another 2 years. Love that. Jordan Hicks, 2 years, $8 million. And Michael Dunn. Just necessity right now. Again, no cap space. Making do with what we can. So,
I know you lost almost your entire linebacking core.
yeah.
I want to mention that.
I mean, everyone besides Jordan Hicks and JOK. I mean, we lost Sion Takitaki and Mac Wilson already. And those were our starters. So,
And I do want your thoughts on the Jerry Jeudy trade.
I don't know.
I mean, for a 5th and a 6th,
If he still has a bum ankle, we could have drafted a Jerry Jeudy in the 5th or 6th round. That will actually be able to be on the field. So, if he stays healthy, cool. But I'm not anticipating that. Doesn't make sense to. He's been hurt every year of his career.
and
So-
your medical staff is notoriously
and-
terrible.
Yeah. So,
Pittsburgh brings in Russ for that 1 year vet minimum deal, and then immediately gets rid of his probably best weapon there in Deontay Johnson. Pretty odd. But my favorite signing of the entire first couple days, Patrick Queen, 3 years, $41 million.
huge.
Again, staying in the division, coming from the rival. I think it's an incredible move. I think he's a top, if not top 5, definitely a top 10 linebacker in the league. I think it's pretty great value as well. To your Texans.
Got Joe Mixon. Running back was kind of a question mark last year. Locked in Dalton Schultz for 3 years, $36 million. Signed Azeez Al-Shahir for 3 years, $34 million. Got Danico Autry for 2 years, $20 million. Jeff Okuda, huge.
Super sneaky pickup.
1 year rental for $6 million. Daniil Hunter, of course, for 2 years, $49 million. Mike Ford, 2 years, $4.5 million. Lonnie Johnson, 1 year. Desmond King re-signed. Eric Murray re-signed, and their kicker Fairbairn for 3 years, $15 million.
Only $49 million for Daniil Hunter. I think all fully guaranteed.
I'll be honest, Texans might be my Super Bowl favorite.
We talked about that a lot in the group text the other day. I love every single move they've made. You go from first overall pick, 2 of the top 3 picks, and then to a perennial contender and potentially Super Bowl favorite.
With offensive and defensive rookie of the years.
and brand new head coach.
Yeah,
Maybe the fastest turnaround in NFL history.
yeah. And they still have plenty of first-round picks from us. Plenty of second-round picks.
Future, the present is very, very bright. I picked the wrong Texas team, man. Thanks, Pops.
Yeah.
The Colts lock up Michael Pittman, 3 years, $70 million. Zaire Franklin resigns, 3 years, $31.26. DL Grover Stewart, 3 years, $39. Kenny Moore in the secondary, 3 years, $30 million. And resign the most important player on the team, punter Rigoberto Sanchez. And nothing super flashy, keeping their main guys there. And again, future's bright with what they've got in Steichen, and hopefully Tony Rich comes back healthy. AFC South in general, getting spicy.
Except one team. Jacksonville.
Confusing.
Gabe Davis, 3 years, $39 million. Okay.
Now, we follow Gabe Davis a lot, right?
Cool guy.
Is he worth $13 million a year?
We'll see. I think we're just going to see Calvin Ridley 2.0, where they just don't throw him the ball.
Well, we know what Gabe Davis is, a week-to-week guy, right?
He could be a more consistent
Yeah,
guy.
but also we know how Jacksonville is.
But
same kind of thing. Like
yeah,
1 week
it's
it's Kirk,
Christian Kirk.
one week
just
it's
Christian
Zay
Kirk.
Jones. Ridley had, 2 weeks?
If that.
Like week 1 and week 12.
But then they signed guard Ezra Cleveland, 3 years, $28 million. Tagged Josh Allen, 1 year, $24 million. Traded for Mac Jones for a 6th-round pick for some reason.
What the hell was that?
Locked in center Mitch Morse and locked up Darnell Savage for 3 years, which I like that a lot. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing, man.
The Titans. Titans bring in Tony Pollard for the same DeAndre Swift contract, 3 years, $24 million. Jadobe Awuzie, 3 years, $36. Bring back Lloyd Cushenberry, 4 years for $50. And then Calvin Ridley, who I don't have the numbers here, but I think it was 4 for $89.
Thought it was like 93. I think it's like 93.
I don't care. I don't
he's
know.
wide
I don't
out
know.
one.
He clearly wide out one.
He is wide out one.
And I guess, you saw that he wasn't used properly last year, and you think you can change that?
I mean, he's definitely a top 10 wide out.
Can be.
Being horribly misutilized. So
I think Pollard behind that O-line will be very, very good, assuming they don't do what Mike McCarthy did.
And run him up the middle only. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not Derrick Henry.
An outside handoff or two.
I think they know that. I definitely trust their
But
staff
you
much
already
more.
have
Oh, I could see the guy.
Yep.
He was
Drafted him
we
in
started
fantasy.
him a couple times.
I drafted him in fantasy.
I started him like 3 weeks. Good Lord. Hold on a minute. Let me pull it up.
Drafted him with anticipation that Derrick Henry was going to get hurt.
Come on now. Come on. Current Titans running back. T.J. Spears.
Tyjae Spears.
Tyjae.
Yes.
Again, started at least 3 weeks for me.
Yeah, so you still have him. So you have a split backfield or some maybe 75-25, whatever it may be.
Which is where Pollard thrives.
Yes.
Not a lead guy.
Moving on to the East, Buffalo signed edge AJ Espina, 2 years, max value of $20 million. Daquan Jones, 2 years, $16 million. Mitchell Trubisky, 2 years, $5 million. Linebacker Nicholas Morrow, Deion Dawkins extended for 3 years, $60 million. David Edwards, offensive guard, 2-year extension. Cam Lewis, 2-year extension. Taylor Rapp, 3-year extension. And you get a better version of Gabe Davis and Mac Hollins, 1-year deal.
Miami had let a lot of guys go. Probably their 2 best defensive players in Wilkins and Xavier Howard.
Yeah.
They do sign Jordan Brooks, 3 years for $30. Bring back center Aaron Brewer, 3 for $21. Also losing Van Ginkel, I didn't mention. Bring in Jordan Poyer, 1 year, $2 million. Stays healthy. It's good value. Bring in former Buck Shaq Barrett, 1 year, $9 million on the edge. Re-sign their A-string running back, Salvin Ahmed. Could be a big-time player this season.
No.
After the first 7 guys get hurt. They bring in somebody else anyway. And all signs point to a big-time deal for Tua finally. But I'm a little worried here about Miami, especially defensively.
Yeah, it took a lot of defensive hits. New England, on the other hand, did what New England does every single year, and it's scrape the bottom of the barrel for anyone that everyone's getting rid of. They're acting like they still have Tom Brady. Now they don't have a starting quarterback.
Plan is to go for Drake May, I assume, or at least one of these guys in the draft.
But they signed Mike Onwenu for 3 years, $57 million. Signed Hunter Henry, 3 years, $27. Anthony Jennings, 3 years, $24. Kyle Duggar, 1 year, $13. Love that. Jacoby Brissett, 1 year, $8 million. I really love that too.
Again, I assume you have Brissett start. You let May sit for a year, progress a little bit.
But you're only letting Jacoby Brissett throw the ball to Jalen Reagor for 1 year and Kendrick Bourne for 3 years. And he's handing the ball off to fumble machine Goobermeister, Antonio Gibson.
And Ramondre.
Chuck Wuma or Rokafor, also Corafor, 1 year. Josh Uchi, 1 year. Christian Ellis re-signed. Sion Takitaki, 2 years, 6.5. Austin Hooper, 1 year, 4.25. And re-signed Alex Austin.
And last but not least, the New York Football Jets. Bring in Javon Kinlaw, 1 year deal. I like that. Sneaky move, Tyrod Taylor, 2 years, $18 million. John Simpson on the front line, 2 year, $18 million. Lock up Greg the Leg again, 2 years, 8.4, and keeping punter Thomas Morstead. Favorite and least favorite signings so far. I know I mentioned Patrick Queen, Christian Wilkins.
Probably everything my Houston Texans did.
On the right track for sure.
Favorite signings.
No,
honestly, I love the Kyle Duggar signing for New England.
So for what, $2 million?
Or Jeremy Chin. Those are so sneaky signings.
Like you mentioned with Houston, I love the Okuda 1 year rental. Give him a shot if he stays healthy. Getting to be a probably number 3 corner behind Stingley.
And you're talking about a potential all-pro corner in Okuda.
Defensive-minded head coach. Young team overall. I like that a lot. Least favorite?
Anything that Cincinnati's doing, because it makes no sense. Between them and Dallas, it's just like, yeah, no thanks. I think we're just going to get rid of these guys instead. We're not really interested in free agents. I think they released Nick Scott today, too, Cincinnati.
That wouldn't shock me. Yeah, I mean, until things play out in the field, there's really nothing that stands out to me that's like straight up bad or clear overpay. Maybe the Ridley thing. But again, as long as it's used properly in Tennessee, that's the market for wideouts. I get that. So definitely think it's slowed down here after the first initial wild 2 days, but still some big-time players out there to be signed. Hopefully Dallas does anything, but I'm not holding my breath.
Hit a break real quick?
I think so. Come back with episode 78 of Sports and Stogies after this. Welcome back to episode 78 of SnS. Cam, hit him with a mid-roll ad read.
And just a reminder, this episode is brought to you by Wonka Frenchies. Best Frenchies in the Midwest. They have top quality, big rope, fluffies, and standards, and they have dogs in all price ranges. They have litters as frequently as possible. They're breeding with big names. They're making a name for themselves. Reach out to Robert Brewer on Facebook for more information and how much their dogs cost, if you're interested.
And you should be interested.
Absolutely. I've seen them.
Beautiful dogs.
Beautiful dogs. Can't really judge them myself because I don't know anything about breeding. But best dogs I've ever seen.
Look damn good to me. A1 prime. Top of the line.
Look like dogs that would bust through a wall with robots.
If you went into a lab and genetically created the best dogs possible, which they might be doing, I don't know.
Be Wonka Frenchie's dogs.
It's the product you get.
The best dogs.
Friend of the show, Bobby Brewer.
Bobby Brewer. Robert Brewer on Facebook. Reach out for Wonka Frenchie's best bulldogs in town in the Midwest. In Ohio, maybe even in the nation. Could be even the world.
I'm not going to argue. I'm going to go to the soundboard right here. You know what that is? It's a blast to the past.
That was good.
Yeah, it's been a while since we... maybe we'll break out the gong tonight later, too. How about a true blast of the past? The gong.
Honestly, it'd be fun if we got a mixer with a soundboard on it.
Eventually. Yeah, I'm not a
Especially now that I'm kind of running the.
production.
Yeah.
How's it feel to be a producer again?
I could easily just slap a button.
We need like 5 things. 5 cues is really all we need. Little lightning noise. Little
Just
blast of the past noise.
that, and then film room noise, the clack or whatever.
Like a ding.
Maybe like a cinema rolling for film room or something.
Like the Family Feud X.
Yeah.
That's about it. Clip one of us making dumb statements.
Also
Really, the
true.
possibilities are endless.
Yeah. That's why you get a soundboard.
We'll get there. Let's get a camera first.
Well, a couple.
Yeah, at least 3.
Yeah. Well, 2. I have one that I can bring back and forth.
Okay, at least 2 more.
Yeah.
Well, this week's blast to the past, NBA related. As you can tell by the structure of this for the first time.
Actually structured show.
Yeah, mixing things up a little bit. Do you have Rudy's comments to start things off?
Not
I pulled it up.
exactly.
So after a loss, I forget who it was to, but Rudy Gobert came out and pretty much implied that refs are still maybe not rigging, but having some outside influence over outcomes of games and the way they call games. Got like a $100,000 fine, I believe. But it made me think about, made a lot of people think about the 2007 betting scandal with referee Tim Donaghy. The gist of it is, let's see, he basically bet on games in which he was officiating, and probably games he was not either. But he admitted to betting on games from basically 2003 to 2007. Claims that instead of altering game outcomes, it was more so giving inside info to bookies and gamblers. However, in the 2008 season, through his lawyers, he basically admitted that in certain playoff series, he was told by the league to draw them out as long as possible, try to get game 6s and 7s, and then was accused of, targeting certain players. We know about Scott Foster's rivalry with Chris Paul. Jeff Van
I'm glad you
Gundy.
mentioned Scott Foster.
He'll be brought back up, of course. That's where it's going to tie back into today's current situation.
Radio tease.
Professional. Let's see. Jeff Van Gundy alleged that referees were letting another team's player get away with illegal screens, and then NBA executives told the refs to call it a lot more stricter the next game, which is probably pretty normal behavior. If you're too loose on one thing, hey guys, tighten up here on this, watch for this. But was sentenced to 15 months in prison and then 3 years supervised with probation. But he was just a fall guy. You think only one ref was guilty of doing these things?
In a gambling ring.
Now, he sent over 200 texts on a burner phone to one Scott Foster. Never texted any other ref more than like 5 times. Scott Foster's still employed, still reffing games.
No questions asked.
It would be a huge issue if it came out that there were 10, 15, 35 refs that were all in this. The league would fall apart. Stern decided, hey, we got to have one dude step forward, take the fall, keep things quiet, and move on. And look where we're at now. Is Rudy Gobert the whistleblower here?
He's a guy that lost. If he was on the winning team, that'd be completely different. Nobody complains about the officials unless they lose.
Now we see it. There's such a spotlight with legal gambling now, right? And we talked about it all year. I feel like refs keep getting worse and worse each year, especially now that gambling is legalized in most states. Do you think there's something more nefarious going on? Not just in the NBA, but even in sports in general.
It looks like it, right? But Chiefs winning 3 Super Bowls and not a single holding call
0
in any of those wins. Yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't shock me.
I think NBA is the easiest sport to have influence
let's
over.
be honest. Sports have at least betting has been rigged since it began.
Oh, of course.
That's kind of why it started with organized crime,
Easy money.
because our guy's going to win. It's that simple. So I'm not shocked. I wouldn't be shocked. Anyone who says that they would be so surprised are just dumb.
Naive.
Like, again, sports betting originated with organized crime. Why would it shock you if just because they made it legal, it's not ran like that still?
Now, I don't think the league overall is doing anything besides, I do think they extend series when possible.
Probably.
That's a lot of revenue missing out on if it's a 4-game sweep or even a 5-game series. You want 6 and 7 if possible. But I do think there's definitely at least a handful of refs that have access to certain information and can make certain calls and can make a lot of money for themselves and the people that maybe put money in their pockets.
Exactly.
Which is why...
Which
look,
apparently may be the case for SEC football, too. Did you see that report?
No.
Former Alabama quarterback, I can't remember his name, I think he was a second stringer, but he said that he was at Jason Aldean's bar in Nashville, and a mobster came up to him and gave him $300,000 to throw the next game.
As a second-string quarterback?
Maybe it was a quarterback.
That'd be a bad investment.
That I just don't remember, but they said basically that Alabama knows about it, and it's all SEC.
No, I think this goes across all sports, all colleges, all levels.
But it wouldn't shock me if it's still owned by organized crime.
Without a doubt.
Like, why would they ever get rid of it?
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. Now it's just not illegal. Now it's not crime.
It's always been an open secret. And now it's just not so secretive.
I'll tell you what, dude, if I was a quarterback for any college and they were like 300 grand, especially if there was no NIL at the time, no official NIL, 300 grand in my pocket, dude.
Oh, 5 interceptions? My bad, coach.
Then just light it up in practice and be like, I'm back, baby.
Yeah, really, my shoulder was kind of hurting the other day. That's what it was. Didn't quite
get
feel
enough
right.
sleep.
My right eye
I
was
had
kind of
some
blurry.
pasta right before the game. Wasn't feeling too hot.
And
I threw up like 3 times on the field.
Yeah,
You didn't see that?
Chipotle pregame. Didn't help. I was kind of hungover.
A little shit stain in the back of my pants.
Girlfriend left me. Kind of depressed. I tried, though.
But I'm back.
Never left.
Back like I never left.
And then you get $400K the next week.
Exactly. Sorry, coach. I thought I was back.
This week, I promise. I'm back. Let's see. Start us off with NBA news.
Kawhi Leonard had to exit the game after 12 minutes with back spasms. Is there a long-term concern here?
I hope not. Not that I've read, at least. I would say take a week off. You know, it's Kawhi. You know what your protocol is here.
This is new, though. It's always been knees.
For the most part, yeah.
Now we're getting into the torso region. This is new territory.
Yeah. I would call Deshaun Watson's, masseuses, get things loose back there. Can take a week, even 2 weeks. My bold prediction is still in play. He's only missed a couple of games. Just for rest. Take it easy here. Come back in when you're fully healthy. You can even probably sit till the playoffs if you're that worried about it.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to do is have him come back too early, re-aggravate it, or get something even worse, and now he's done for the year.
If the Clippers win the championship, you give Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and Paul George their first rings. You can't not root for that, right?
And then I'm retiring.
Pretty much.
I mean, at that point, you want to play another 3 years where you're probably going to get hurt again?
Yeah, I'd retire. You got it. You got it. You finally got it.
And also,
Get out of
there's
there.
no one else to want to get a ring more than Russ.
No, there's nobody that deserves one more than Russ, besides
sure.
maybe Chris Paul.
Well, you can thank Scott Foster for that.
Yeah.
0-9 in the playoffs, come on. It's a little too coincidental. That might even be higher now, I don't know.
No idea. Well, I think that was just with the Clippers, I thought.
It's 0-9 with the Clippers. Yikes. Even worse.
Well, no, because they went out. I think they got out of the first round.
At least once, yeah.
I think they made it as far as the conference chip.
Yeah, I mean 0-9 in Scott Foster games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably just with the Clippers, honestly.
Wouldn't shock me.
They haven't really. What team has he been on that's been to the playoffs?
Since?
Where do you go right after?
Phoenix, right?
Was it? Was that the first team he went to after the Clippers? I thought there was one in between.
Like it had to be Phoenix. Where else would it be? He didn't go to the East, right? Jamie,
Maybe
pull that
it
up real
is.
quick.
Maybe it is
I
Phoenix.
think it had to be Phoenix.
Why do I feel like he was on a different team? It was like there's a third team besides Phoenix.
I mean, it does seem like a Chris Paul thing to
Golden
do.
State.
Go for like 1 year to someone else.
I also feel like he left the Clippers like 6 years ago.
It does seem that way. Yes, of course. We forgot. 2 years in Houston.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then a year in OKC.
Yeah,
And then Phoenix.
gotcha. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
How we overlooked the Rockets
Yeah,
seasons.
that checks out.
See, altogether, probably 0-17 in Scott Foster playoff games. Other injury news, Karl Anthony Towns done for the year, torn meniscus. Faith in Minnesota, gone. Can they advance without Cat?
Not gone. I don't know if they're the powerhouse that they have been all year, though. It's a huge hit.
Second most important player on that team. Like, I still go Ant first.
I don't know. I think Cat's the most important player on that team.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're going to get probably, let's say they stay at the 4 or 5 seed, worst case. Hopefully get to host a playoff round. But even with Cat, I wasn't totally sold on them making a deep run, just until they proved me wrong. But losing him definitely makes a substantial blow to their, at least making it past the first round.
Yeah, tough. Then Alperen Sengun. How do you say that?
Sengun.
Sengun. I don't like that.
Well, it's his name, dude.
Well, Alperen Sengun, grade 3 ankle sprain. You said he's going to be done for the rest of the year.
Should be shut down. There's no point in bringing him back.
Yeah,
but
no
they
playoff
worried it was
hopes.
severe knee injury or ankle injury. So in that case,
Looked like it.
yeah, good news. Only an ankle sprain. Come back healthy next year, big dog. Love that dude.
Yeah, he's a beast. And then we got Mr. Gafford. Record for most consecutive field goals made, 28 straight over 4 games.
Thank you, Luka Doncic.
And Luka with the new record for most consecutive triple doubles with 30-plus points at 6.
Even though I think they were 2 and 4 in that stretch.
Doesn't matter.
Maybe 3
We're
and
setting
3.
records, baby. Doesn't matter.
Only one record
What's
matters.
more important?
It's your win-loss.
Nope.
Luka
Doesn't
even said
matter.
when he broke the record, like, yeah, that's cool, but do we win?
Yeah, you won, dude.
Finally, the last 2.
NBA history. That's what you won.
And then he put up 27 to break it.
Slacker.
Because Kid pulled him. And Kid's like, yo, you guys are going to bitch if I keep him in and he pads stats, and you're going to bitch if I pull him.
Yeah, well, Jason Kidd's an idiot.
Also, if Luka wanted the record, wanted to keep going, he would have stayed in and put up 30.
Also, Jason Kidd's an idiot.
I don't disagree. Maybe the worst coach in the league. I got team of the week. You got more news here?
I think that's all I got for news. You want to do power rankings before we do team of the week?
Fine by me. Start in the East.
Knicks 5,
Pacers 4.
Bucks 3,
Cavaliers up to number 2.
and Celtics number 1. I think that's pretty consensus.
Yeah, I have no. I feel like you could swap 2 and 3. You could swap 4 and 5. But I think we both like Cavs at 2. The ball they're playing right now. Things still not really totally clicking in Milwaukee. But we'll see come postseason. In the West, we got the Pelicans sneaking in at the 5 spot. One of only like 4 teams that are in the top 10 in both offensive and defensive rating. And again, getting no coverage, no love. Which I like.
Yeah.
Keep it on the DL.
I got the Wolves at 4, waiting to kind of see. They're in limbo right now for me. Can't drop them out of the top 5 until they go out of the top 5.
Just beat the Kings last night by
They're
like 25 points.
They're just in limbo.
Yeah.
We got to see if they can hold without Cat. If they can hold without Cat, maybe they go back up to 3.
Where the Clippers are currently at. Again, depending on Kawhi, maybe in slight limbo there too, although to a much lesser degree than Minnesota is.
Then the Oklahoma City Thunder at 2.
And defending champs Denver at the 1 spot. Team of the week, I got cute. Went Spurs.
How'd that go?
Expected a rough week. They went 1-4. Their one win was against Golden State without Victor.
Checks out.
Pretty odd.
I went with the Cavs, 3-3. They beat the Pelicans, Timberwolves, and Celtics, and lost to the Grizzlies, the Jazz, and the Raptors.
What a bizarre.
Sorry. They lost to the Hawks, the Nets, and the Suns. I was reading who the Thunder were playing, which is who my new team of the week is. They play the Mavericks, the Grizzlies, the Jazz, the Raptors, the Bucks, and the Pelicans.
Another full week. Good
Should
Lord.
be a nice, clean 6-0 sweep.
Wouldn't shock me. I am taking the aforementioned Pelicans, who did lose to the Cavs tonight by a cool 21 at home. But I knew that going in. And then host the Clippers, host the Blazers, and go to Brooklyn. So hopefully after tonight's L, a nice 3-game streak to give me a 3-1 week. With that, it's time for Overrated Wednesday. Sound effect's been used before. Hit the wrong button there.
My bad.
It should be a simple chant, Overrated. I've got 1 UFC fighter and 1 NFL player.
I've got a UFC fighter and a basketball player.
I don't know your fighter. I do know your basketball player. Now I've got a woman that changed the sport, helped bring in a lot of audience, but the sport caught up to her, and she was nowhere as very good for her time, but comparative to what the sport is now, not near as good as people think she was. Ronda Rousey, excellent at one thing, judo and armbar.
Yeah.
And then when she tried to box with Holly Holm, got knocked the hell out.
Very, very badly.
Because she has no stand-up game, no head movement, no offensive stand-up game. And then got murdered by Amanda Nunes and then walked away.
And continued the armbar in the WWE as a finisher.
Because, again, one-trick pony. Again, long-time champ, good for the sport, made people actually watch women's MMA. Kind of had the Tyson effect where it was, let's see how quick it takes her in the first round to get a finish. And when she had a streak of like 4 straight fights where it was under a minute. But she's fighting nobodies. I mean, she had to go 2-0 against Miesha Tate, which are quality wins, but then like Beth Correa, Liz Carmouche. Come on. Ronda Rousey, overrated.
Agreed.
Now you're a fighter.
Chael Sonnen.
Overall checks out.
Pretty much everyone he fought that was talented,
Beat him.
he lost. Like, sure, I'll give you Mauricio Hua. He was good, but you lost to Rashad Evans. You lost to John Jones. You lost to Anderson Silva twice.
Although he was 30 seconds away from that belt.
Like, you lost to Forrest Griffin. I mean, the resume isn't great for wins. Dan Miller. Bisping's probably his best win other than Mauricio Hua. It's kind of overrated.
Yeah, fought the best guys. Like Ronda, kind of a one-trick pony. Great wrestler, not great on his feet. But again, what could have been different? He would have had 30 seconds. Those last 30 against Anderson, the second time or the first time around. After he kicked his ass for 24 straight minutes.
Yeah.
All-time GOAT on the mic, best ever, but didn't quite translate to in-octagon performance. I think it's a good pull. I like that. But still undefeated, undisputed, never lost a round.
And you're a football player.
My NFL player is a quarterback who, especially among, I think, current and future generations, will be looked at as like one of the best ever. If you're just watching highlights or you follow Madden. But if you watched him play consistently, Michael Vick, totally overrated. And I know he's going to get that reaction.
I don't think I can condone that.
He was the first guy to, well, not even the first guy.
Not even
Electrifying, yes.
Not even that, but what he was capable of. Like his actual talent.
Super talented.
Even arm talent.
Incredible arm strength. Arm talent, not great.
His arm talent was pretty solid.
Inaccurate.
Watch the film, dude.
I watched it. He had one season over 60%. Super inconsistent. Yes, could give you a 6-touchdown game with 150 on the ground.
But
Electrifying player. Tough to stop.
even like his best seasons were with the Falcons. And the Falcons were a terrible franchise. And even Philly wasn't super great then either.
They were the dream team. That wasn't so dreamy.
I mean, that was also post break.
He took a sabbatical. Had to walk away for a couple of years.
Like,
again, I mean, no denying the talent, but inconsistent. Didn't quite match up, I think, to what he should have or could have been.
I think that's solely because he went to prison.
I have nothing against. If anything, I applaud him for coming back after that and being a big proponent of animal safety and awareness. Like,
No,
really
yeah, I
ready to
agree,
ship. I love that. I don't hold anything against him for going to jail.
I don't either, but that is why he's overrated. If he would have played for those years, he would not be overrated.
I don't know about that.
I do.
Now look at the numbers. Do your own research there, people. There are people who you ask if you could start one team today, who you taking as your quarterback. People take Michael Vick. It's absurd. He's not even the top 30 quarterback of all time.
He's definitely probably top 30.
Not a lot of telling you people. Drop some comments in here.
Top 30?
I think that if I sat down, I think there's 30 guys I'm going to take before I
No,
take
there's
Michael Vick.
not.
We're not playing Ultimate Team. We're
Doesn't
playing
matter.
on-field results.
Yeah. If you have a good team, doesn't matter who your quarterback is.
Kind of matters.
Doesn't.
It does.
Patrick Mahomes won this year because of his defense.
Come on now.
That's a fact.
Solely because of the defense.
Pretty much, yeah. They were winning games with 20 points on the board. That's a defensive win.
Let's see, Michael Vick's best year, touchdown to interception wise, 21-6 with Philly. His 3 years prior to going to jail, which, you say would have been the 2 best years when he missed. 14-12, 15-13, and 20-13. All under 2,500 yards. Again, electric ground game.
He was just Cam Newton.
Also overrated. One excellent year.
Again, Cam Newton had nobody to throw the ball to.
He won a Super Bowl.
He went to a Super Bowl.
Didn't win?
No.
He went to a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Like back-to-back 15-1 or 14-2 seasons.
35-year-old Steve Smith Sr. was his number one quarterback or wide receiver.
Hall of Famer. Still very good at that age.
Not really.
Good enough.
Mm,
I will say this is equally as hot, if not hotter, than your Kobe take.
I feel like Kobe's still hotter.
No, definitely. He's beloved and consists a top 5 player across the board. Either way, Michael Vick, overrated.
My overrated basketball player is Paul Anthony Pierce.
You've been waiting for this one.
I mean, people act like Paul Pierce is one of the best small forwards of all time.
You don't put him right behind Larry Bird?
No. Like, I honestly think you could have kept him off the 75th anniversary team.
Did they put those in order?
Yeah.
They did. Where did he rank at?
I can't remember. I think it was in the 60s maybe. But top 60 all time.
I have no problem dropping Paul Pierce.
He was a one-time NBA champ. He won all rookie. He didn't even win Rookie of the Year. 4-time All-NBA, which is good, but it doesn't say whether it was first team or second team or whatever. 10-time All-Star, probably undeserving in some of those. And like I said, one finals MVP, which I can check to see. Let me pull up his stats on that real quick for his finals appearance. This is the year he averaged 19 points per game with 5 rebounds and 3 assists on 44% from the floor, 36% from 3. So, not confident that this finals MVP was deserving. They played, it looks like they beat the Lakers. So he won finals MVP based on one game where he put up 38. But he also had 5 fouls and 5 turnovers. So that was completely disregarded. Then he had 17, 20, 6, 28, 22. Again, 2, 5, 4, 3, 5, 3 turnovers, 4+ fouls in every game.
Who just should have won it instead of Paul Pierce?
On that team,
What KG put up?
either Kevin Garnett, literally any of the other guys.
Matter of fact, other numbers stack up there.
I'll check real quick.
Got to factor in Rondo's defense
or
too.
Rondo, yeah, honestly.
Facilitation. Probably MVP should have been Doc Rivers for his coaching genius.
Let's see. Kevin Garnett put up 26 and 14, 13 and 14, 16 and 11, 13 and 12, 17 and 14, 18 and 13 with only one game with more than 4 fouls.
And elite defense.
Yeah, I mean, 1 block, over a steal every game, 3 blocks one game, blocks all over the place, steals all over the place, assists all over the place.
Of course, it's easy to read box scores in retrospect and think, oh, this guy didn't deserve it. I have to go back and watch that series, but just based on that, I mean, KG, known dog.
Yeah, I mean, let's see what Ray Allen was doing.
Hitting threes, playing defense.
Definitely. But again, it should have been Rondo. He was the leader of the team, realistically.
Yeah, I would say Kendrick Perkins for his inspiring pep
Probably got a
talks.
minute.
It's a locker room guy, really, what it is. Glenn
Minute or
Big
two.
Baby Davis.
Honestly, Ray Allen, just consistent. 26, 16, 19, 25, 17, 19. With a handful of assists. 2 games with 3+ steals. Multiple blocks throughout the series. 1 game he fouled out of.
That was a Scott Foster
But
game.
it was 39 minutes in, he fouled out. So, is what it is. But, yeah, I don't know. Overrated Paul Pierce. Kind of trash.
Going against in that series, the overrated Kobe Bryant.
2 overrated guys going head-to-head.
Again, drop your comments and let us know what you guys think, whether you agree or disagree, and drop in some suggestions for Underrated Tuesday next week, which I'm not sure which one I like more. It's fun doing spicy hot takes, overrated, but it's fun bringing to light some guys that never got enough love that they should have. Now with that, on to UFC/boxing, because Francis Ngannou got absolutely murdered.
The guy thought he could hang. I love that Tyson Fury gave him that confidence and played with him for a fight. But him and Anthony Joshua, I'm sure, talked pre-match and said, it's time to show him what boxing's really about. He got knocked down 3 times in round 1 and then folded round 2.
I mean, one of the most picturesque knockouts I've seen in probably ever, really.
Yeah, it's up there.
Is he done?
In boxing, probably. I mean, he still hasn't fought a single PFL fight.
I think he has got one booked, though. I'm pretty sure. Which is definitely much more suited for. Like, as good as he is, you can't expect to go in against world-class heavyweight champion talent and think you're on that level. Now, if they had gone, to even a full fight or even like 8 rounds and he gets knocked out, okay, he had a good run. But to get dropped 3 times in the first and then murdered in round 2, I don't think he landed anything on AJ.
I don't think so. And he legitimately bit on every feint.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was completely unprepared.
Well, not just that, but I think the first knockdown totally shook him up.
Yeah.
Where he was so scared of getting it again, where he's reacting to everything. And it's the ones you don't see coming. Like that heavy right. Good
Beautiful
Lord.
overhand right.
They had a hit just as heavy as Sean's knee on Cheeto, if not
Yeah.
heavier. Well, on to the UFC card. 299 did not disappoint. We saw another glimpse of future heavyweight champ.
Despagny?
I think it's Desmanier. Yeah.
Despagny?
With a filthy walking away back foot KO. Dude's got unreal power.
And 70 million inches of arm reach.
Yeah, huge dude in great shape.
And just funky style.
We don't know if he has any cardio yet because his last 4 fights have ended in like inside a minute. In fact, he fought longer in this fight than his past 3 fights combined.
Wow.
Again, still haven't haven't gotten to see enough yet, but the future's bright, and I think with progression and consistent coaching and training, he's going to be definitely on his way to contending for a title, if not winning one, in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yep. Then Michael Pereira threw 5 punches and choked a guy out.
Efficient.
It's always fun. Macy Barber kind of just slaughtered.
Yeah, Caitlin looks so slow.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
So slow. Not really any fear there on Macy's part at any point in that fight.
And then you said you hate Gamrot now.
Well, I was never a fan, but he's so boring. Like, efficient, yes. Technical,
I mean, yeah, he
yes.
threw 19 takedowns, but he also threw 163 strikes.
Straight jabs.
Same thing Marab does.
Yeah. Controlled it. I mean, it looked great against an old, beat up RDA. A lot of mileage there, but I think it's 8 in a row, I think. Substantial win streak. Yeah, talented dude, but he's probably going to get the Bilal treatment of you're too boring, so we're going to pass you over for any kind of title contention.
And then my favorite fight of the night was Gelton Almeida getting absolutely clobbered.
The first round is one of the most frustrating things I've ever watched. I'm pretty sure legit 8 takedowns. 9?
9 for 13.
9 easy takedowns. And then just didn't do anything with him. Blaze got right back
Just
up.
stood up.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, watching it, like, okay, yes, you have to score this round for him because he got 9 takedowns, but can we not? And I even texted you during it, like, screw my bet. I really hope he gets KO'd.
Yep.
And then no more than 15 seconds later, blasted.
Definitely the most satisfying fight I've ever seen.
And completely stops that momentum train. Thank God.
Good.
Aspinall Blades 2.0.
Maybe.
Hearing a lot of talk about that. That was the fight where Aspinall broke his leg. Didn't get to finish.
Maybe. I don't know. Then we move on to Piotr Yang and Song Yudong, which I think should have been a split decision, personally.
I think Young definitely took 2 and 3. You think one was a 10-8?
Yeah.
Yeah?
But
yeah, classic Jan. Always starts slow. Usually takes first
if
round
Song
off.
would have kept on the gas, he would have knocked Jan out pretty
Probably.
easily, pretty
Yeah,
quickly.
Probably.
I mean, he had Jan dazed 6 or 7 times.
Just didn't quite finish it. Didn't pressure. I don't know if it's on him or his coaches, but opportunities were definitely there. Then again, Jan survived the first, took 2 and 3. I still don't think he's going to get back to championship level.
No, I think Song Yudong will.
Still young, bright future.
I think he'll get the championship level
And again,
one
probably
day.
should have won that fight. And
then-
definitely it has some regrets. Go back and watch that tape song. You'll capitalize next time.
And then another guy who will be at championship level soon enough, Jack Della Maddalena.
Almost got choked out. and then got up and landed a vicious knee with a broken arm, no less.
Yeah. I mean, overall, aside from the ground game, Gilbert Burns went 7 for 11, but most of those led to nothing.
It's also classic Gilly Burns. I mean, he's a great takedown artist.
And he just got destroyed in the striking game.
Yeah, Jack, very, very good, man.
I mean, the numbers, total strikes is 31 to 85, and Gilbert even only threw 63.
Yeah, definitely passive. I want to see him be more aggressive, but love Jack's style, his personality. And yeah, hopefully one more win gets him into title talk.
And then, honestly, probably the worst fight was Kevin Holland versus MVP, which again should have been a split decision.
Yeah, really, really weird.
Holland landed more strikes, less significant strikes, but landed 2 for 5 on takedowns and held control for 4 minutes.
You can't make a case that he won 2 rounds, though. If you split it up round by round, like our scoring system works.
Honestly, I think you can.
Think he took 2 and 3?
You could argue that, for sure. Nothing happened in those 2 rounds.
No, definitely not a good win for MVP. I wish we would have got him like 10 years ago.
His style's always been the same.
Yeah, well, he'd be more efficient if he was 10 years younger. But yeah, it looked weird, odd movements.
Just bragging too much.
Yeah,
making it too much of a show.
That's his character. That's his shtick. Great entrance with the Undertaker thing.
Prelim fighter.
But yeah, definitely. There's talks of one more fight, and he's ready for a title shot.
I never want to see him on a main card again.
Now, if he fights anybody better than Kevin Holland, he probably gets knocked out.
Yeah.
It was like watching Yuri, but if he's not good. Like, constantly hands down, weird, wide open stance.
Yeah.
He kept switching.
And then just sprinting away every time he got punched because it hurts.
An efficient power striker is going to take his head off.
Yeah.
Because he's also 37.
And he was getting dazed by Kevin Holland, who's not super powerful.
Not with the fists, no.
So.
And, God, he tried to do 20 spinning attacks.
I mean, he landed every spinning elbow.
Which those are filthy. Underrated move. I wish guys did more of those. Spinning head kicks off no feint rarely ever connect. But he kept it on him.
Then Benoit let me down. Completely dominated the entire fight until, don't even say that he didn't.
Dominated?
He absolutely dominated the entire fight until Poirier threw a right hook. It was complete domination. It was not even close.
That's absurd.
It was not even close.
Domination.
Yes.
You think first round was a 10-8?
Easily.
Look at the scorecards. None of the judges gave it a 10-8.
Doesn't matter. It was.
They're the only 3 ones that matter, actually.
It was. It was complete domination.
You just don't want to see me happy, do you?
Watch the fight. You know Poirier got dominated.
Did he come out with a knockout win?
Okay, that's like saying, yes, Leon beat Kamaru Usman, but he didn't get dominated for 5 rounds?
I want to say he got dominated. There were 4 round wins. It wasn't like Leon was doing a ton with it. The point is, once again, my boy, in a position he's been in before,
Needs to retire.
I would love that. Walk out with a great win.
Because I think Dustin's one of the guys that will keep fighting if he loses to get a win to walk away. And we walk into another Tony Ferguson.
No, he's already kind of reached the point after the 2 Conor fights where, does he want to make another title run? Yes, but
I thought
get the
he
money
was going
fights.
to hang him up tonight or
Again,
Saturday
I
night.
wish he would have. It would have been a great way to go out. I guess you give him probably one. You don't give him Islam right away. I say go for the money fights. Fight Chandler again. Why not? Give Gaethje the title shot.
If
He's
Chandler
not gonna. He's never
or
gonna. I don't see him beating Islam.
no chance.
Especially if he keeps trying to throw guillotines on him. So yeah, take the money fights, man. Maybe go up to 170 and do a little catch weight thing. Get paid. But great moment. We were at B-Dubs watching those. Place went wild. Best fighter to never win undisputed, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Then the main event was
It's boring.
I can't even call it boring.
It was boring,
It was constant
dude.
action, but it was never.
It was just jabs.
never a
It was
threat
constant jabs.
of danger.
It was constant. After every 20 jabs, a harder punch would come in or a head kick would come in. And honestly, that Cheeto lost that fight on himself. Every single time he had Sean dazed, he didn't press. He let Sean back up and regain strength.
What did we tell him to do?
Like, every single time. Anytime he landed anything, Sean would back up and Cheeto would stand there like he was an idiot.
That's the way he fought for 25 minutes. Yeah.
And in round 4, when his corner told him, you need to gas out, like, who cares if you get knocked out? You need to go for a finish.
It's your last round, last chance.
Didn't do that. Then in round 5, they said, you've lost 4 rounds. You have to go for a finish.
And he waited until there was 7 seconds left?
Yeah. No idea.
Now look, that's not disparaging Sean's, ability to keep that distance with those jabs.
No, yeah.
But at a certain point, fuck it, I'm going to eat 2 of them and just come at you. Clearly, he has the chin for it. Took that giant knee.
Yeah. I don't understand.
Eat 2 jabs, get in close, and do something with it, dude.
But I think they make it a trilogy.
Not immediately.
Absolutely.
That's stone cold idiotic.
It doesn't matter. It was an idiotic fight to make in the first place.
Totally agreed. And I think a lot of fighters have said that. Like, I know Aljo said it pre-fight. Cheeto shouldn't be here. Corey said post-fight. That's who Cheeto is. We all knew that. This guy's not a championship-level fighter.
Yeah.
So, no, nobody wants to see a round 3. If he had won a round or 2, maybe.
Doesn't matter.
But for that kind of level of 50-45, no, there's absolutely no point, no argument to be made for an immediate rematch.
There was no argument to be made for the match to happen in the first place.
The only argument was, okay, maybe Cheeto could have won the first time because it was a DQ. And now
wasn't.
Sean shut that down.
It wasn't a DQ.
Well, stoppage, right?
It was a TKO. That's what they listed it as. It was the same thing that happened to Izzy. It was that perennial nerve in his leg.
Is that how they put that
kick.
as like that? It's
Yeah, it's a TKO. That's what it's listed as.
Either way, you can make the case that, maybe you could have won that fight. But after a 50-45 thrashing, there's no more case.
1 knockout versus 1 decision. That's what it is in the books. It's a
and if they
TKO
tried to make
versus
it,
a decision.
If they tried to make it, Sean wouldn't take that shit.
Absolutely he would.
No.
Because it's another easy title defense.
No.
Yes,
honestly, this is one of your worst takes. If Dana makes that fight, I'm done with the UFC.
Well, be ready to be done.
I'll hang him up as soon as Dustin does.
Sean's not going to fight Merab. No chance. Who else is he going to fight? Is he going to fight Aljo again? Nobody wants Aljo to have a rematch. He doesn't deserve it. Or he would have got one.
So he won't fight anybody else in the entire top 10, so they give him Cheeto again.
Do you want to see him fight the number 9 guy?
Over Cheeto, yeah.
You're going to see him fight Cheeto again. I guarantee it.
Not immediately.
If
Cheeto wins 5 more fights in a row, sure.
It's not going to happen.
It won't, because he sucks.
I bet you that...
I'll bet. Deal. Bet. Whatever you say, I'll take that bet.
His next title defense is going to be against Cheeto versus Sean.
Take my hand right now. Deal.
Because there's no one else that... The first thing he said was Ilya Taporia.
Yeah, so going for double champ.
They're not
going to
make that fight
right now.
They're not going to make that fight ever.
They shouldn't. No.
They're never going to make that fight. Aljo moved up already. No chance he comes back down. Sean is going to avoid Merab for as long as possible. At least till he has enough title defenses to get an immediate rematch. Which, in my opinion, is probably like 3 or 4.
At least.
And I guarantee you, he's not going to fight Jan again. That was too close.
Too close, meaning?
It was too close of a fight. He was in danger of losing that fight. He's not going to fight Jan again. And if you think Sean doesn't have control, you are out of your mind. That is Dana White's boy. And I love Sean. I'm a Sean fan. But there's nobody who gets treatment like him.
I just find it preposterous to think Sean could literally say no to every opponent in the division.
All you have to do is do exactly what you did to sell this fight. Stack the card and make it a ridiculous card.
Hey, if that's strategy they want to go, then nobody will ever respect Sean's championship status.
Right now, it's not respectable.
I respect it after Aljo.
That's it. But now his title defense is not respectable.
I respect this one, yeah.
Why?
Because he dominated the opponent put in front of him.
So then if he does it again, why don't you respect it?
Because there's no reason. There's absolutely no argument to have Cheeto go in there again.
It's a trilogy. It's 1-1. They do it with every trilogy, man.
Competitive one, sure.
A knockout and a unanimous decision.
A 50-45 unanimous decision that was never close at any point.
Doesn't
Do you
matter.
hear the words coming out of your mouth? I know you're in Shane's chair, but you are smarter than this.
I've seen the dumbest matches ever made in the UFC.
Give me a dumber one that would be dumber than Sean Cheeto round 3 immediately right now. What has been dumber?
What has been dumber?
What's been dumber?
Brandon Moreno versus Figueiredo 4.
Those are all close. Those are all competitive.
It's still a fourth is a dumb matchup.
Agreed. And also there was
dumber than that.
Super small competition in that division.
It's over after a trilogy. You don't make it another even number.
Wasn't 3 also a draw?
I don't think so.
Wasn't it 1-1-1 going into 4?
I thought it was 1-2, and that was it. I thought Moreno had won twice.
You spelled Figueiredo.
Figure.
We got it.
And then an I, Ado, Figueiredo.
Let's see. The first Moreno was a draw. Then Moreno won. Moreno won, then Figgy won, and Moreno won.
Yeah, trash trilogy.
So when you start with a draw, you have that
not great.
That argument to be made.
But
look, would I have made it 4 in a row? No.
Like I said, you made the dumbest first title defense you possibly could have anyways. Literally. If you wanted to give him a guy that had actually competed, give Jan the title shot. That would have made more sense than this.
Agreed, especially with that first fight being close.
I mean, this fight literally made absolutely no sense to begin with. Now, all of a sudden, it's going to make sense? That doesn't even make sense. Like I said, he's not going to fight Merab.
I don't... Based on what? Are they going to take Merab and just put him in the back of a van and take him somewhere?
They'll keep doing what they've been doing and making him fight other people. Why was Merab not the first one to get a title shot?
Because you have the quote-unquote personal history with Cheeto, and it's going to sell the fight.
And it didn't.
I haven't seen the numbers yet either. I wonder what they actually did end up
The card
doing.
probably did great.
It should have, with it stacked as it was.
And that's what I'm saying. That's all you need to do to keep Sean's numbers up is stack the card. And honestly, I don't even know if Merab and Sean would sell that well.
Probably not. Not as a headliner.
I don't know how much people like to watch Merab fight.
Your casual fan, not much. He's not really even a big name. Let's see. This weekend we have our boy Tai Tuivasa, true fan favorite. And
he did a shoey at the Elimination Chamber with one of the WWE guys out of a golden shoe.
Was it worn?
I don't think so.
That's not near as bad. Okay.
No.
Taking one from a fan ringside, that's pretty gross.
Yeah, the WWE guy did one out of a golden shoe. Ty might have had one out of a worn shoe.
That wouldn't shock me. He's an OG.
But it was in Perth.
Oh, so of course he's there.
Yeah.
Speaking of WWE, is it SummerSlam, Cleveland, official?
It is.
Going to be there?
I'm going to try. Also, that guy, the WWE guy, was a history teacher before he went to the WWE.
It's a pretty nice career path.
What a weird career path. That's like weirdest career path I've ever heard of.
So he had to be jacked as a teacher, though, right?
You would think.
Nobody just goes from regular teacher to
But he's also
jacked.
30. So what did you teach for a year?
Probably teaching 3rd grade. Those teachers
History?
start young,
He was a history teacher.
3rd grade history is pretty simple.
Well, they don't call it history till middle school, high school. Unless it's different overseas.
He called it history.
Could be different overseas.
I don't know how the Australian education system works.
If it's social studies.
Yeah, social studies. But imagine you're sitting there on the couch. You're like, oh my God, that's my 3rd grade history teacher.
He is a terrible gimmick, too. I feel like that's the worst part.
What's his name? Do I even know this guy?
Grayson Waller.
Couldn't tell you.
They call it, he's the Aussie icon. He's like a hipster. Weird. Got cool moves, but...
He should become an Aussie goth and embrace the Shane Gillis bit.
Yeah. You said you pre-drew a stick pick?
I pre-wrote down stick pick. Let's do one. So,
oh.
You're due this week.
When you said I wrote down the stick pick, I thought you meant you pre-drew it.
Yeah, I just said I wrote down our segment for a stick pick. Into the ever-growing bucket of wrappers, giant hand pulls out the one and the only.
Special blend anesthesia forte.
Let me see it. I might.
It's purple and gold.
Not know what that is.
I'm sure I could just Google special blend anesthesia forte.
I think, yeah, when we post the pictures, we'll put one up there. I think this might be an Espinosa, but I'm not totally sure. It's like the secondary band, not the main one.
We should probably start getting rid of those, right?
Yeah, well, next time I go through, I'll definitely. I mean, some are more aesthetic than others, and some actually have the full name on them. But
It's a GTO anesthesia
that's
Maduro.
right. Yes, we got those GTO 5-packs from Tip Top.
Yeah, the GTO special blend forte.
Those were all incredible. GTO, I think, is a relatively smaller company. But if you guys see anything out there from them, that's a absolute must grab. I don't think Tip Top has any in stock right now, though. Bums, an abundance of choices this week, actually.
But Jelton Almeida, #1, trash can, never fight on the UFC again.
Not in the main card, at least.
At all. The dude is... heavyweight is by far the most entertaining division for casuals, and he's made it boring.
Yeah.
That seems impossible.
If he was doing something with the takedowns,
He's not.
cool, that'd be great. 9 takedowns?
You get
That's
a point,
outrageous.
You get a point victory over Derek Lewis? Seriously?
Yeah.
Has any of his fights ever went to decision?
I'll even give you that, because you could say I fought scared and didn't want to get the right hand. Okay, whatever. Boring, yes, but it makes sense.
Yeah, but even then, it's not like Derek Lewis has a crazy chin.
Yeah, but you're scared of getting in close and taking that hammer of a fist.
Ground and pound. The guy has no grappling.
No, but he decides I'm just going to stand up because wrestling's not real.
Just like Curtis Blades did.
Well, he's a wrestler, though. But yeah, it's clearly either work on your ground game or abandon it altogether and start throwing some strikes, dude.
Well, the other problem is he comes in like 50 pounds lighter than everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know if you trust so much in your strength and conditioning, but it hasn't paid off, dude.
I mean, you come in at 235 to heavyweight where guys are 280.
265 is the limit.
Well,
So
265, so they're
assume
280 on fight night.
They cut. I wish they put those numbers out, too, because I think PFL did. And guys put like 30 pounds back on.
Yeah, they're 280 at fight
especially
night.
at heavyweight.
280 at fight
Like-
night at least.
I mean, he doesn't even cut to 235. That's like his
He's
walking around weight.
natural.
Yeah, not good. Give him Despanier next. It'll be a quick one.
Yeah.
Then we have Kyle Filipowski, classic Duke douche white guy, who for the most part so far has been pretty cool. But then drank some of the Grayson Allen Kool-Aid and blatantly tripped a dude, like at half court in full view. I was like, what? What? Wasn't me. I didn't do that.
Well, at least it was only one time.
So far,
So get it out while you can.
tourney's coming up.
Duke hater. That chick's brother.
Yeah, if you guys didn't see South Carolina LSU SEC title game, and maybe a future championship matchup here come March or the end of this month at least, fight broke out there at the end, a little pushing, a little shoving, and then I forget which player on Carolina it was, but her brother rushed the
Jumped
court,
over the score table and just...
tried to fight some chicks.
He just kind of stood there.
Yeah, either way, not a good look.
Yeah, he just stood there. He got arrested for assault.
Yeah, principal of it, not good.
I don't understand how he got arrested. Is it assault for just stepping onto the court?
Yeah, if he didn't touch anybody, I mean, I don't know how it's assault.
Like, I watched it, and I didn't see him, like, he never moved his arms. Like, he didn't shove anybody or anything. I mean, he might have, like, I think one of them, like, backed up into him.
That's assault, dude.
Clear, it's like,
clear
I don't see how it was assault. I mean, maybe he had intentions of assault.
Well, you would think so.
Initially.
Jumped the scorer's table.
Initially, he did. Then he got there, and he was like, I don't think so
These are
anymore.
professional college athletes.
I
Maybe
changed my mind.
Maybe I shouldn't do this. And last but not least, our favorite fighter, or maybe second favorite behind Almeida, Francis Ngannou.
I thought we went with the Wizards.
I thought you pushed for Francis.
I wrote down the Wizards.
I wrote down Francis. So we took each other's suggestions. Either one, both pretty goddamn bummy.
Yeah, agreed.
The fact that Detroit is no longer the worst team in the league.
We'll come up with a surprise.
Yeah.
It'll be one of those two guys tomorrow when you see the poll.
Can we just Photoshop Francis in a Kyle Kuzma jersey?
I could try.
Getting knocked out.
It'd be very sloppily done, but I could
Knocked
probably
out by
figure it
Jordan
out.
Poole.
Somebody's already made that, right?
I'm sure. Guaranteed.
Oh, man! If only they were wearing Wizards jersey. Have Draymond on the ground after, or Francis on the ground after Draymond punched Jordan Poole in Wizards jerseys.
That could be arranged. Of course, last week's winner was unanimous. Fighting Phils. Fun Police.
Yeah. Dollar Dog Day canceled.
So when you go vote for Bum of the Week, don't forget to vote for the movie bracket. Again, URL will be on every single place we post the show link.
Facebook and Instagram.
And no limit. So if you guys want to be honest and make one, so be it. If you want to make 100 to make sure that Cool Runnings wins, we can't stop you.
Exactly. You know what we always say? SnS.
To the moon.